Yeah, but seeing people who look just like me and people who I knew who lived around the corner from me in town, and well, not even in town, on the bus. You'd be on the bus and you'd see people out on the bus and you'd be like, we used to call him Pete the Punk, didn't we? Paul knew him better than I did because he lived in the same road as Pete the Punk. And that made it seem achievable. Like previous to that, you'd been listening to Genesis and Peter Gabriel and you're a bit propped out, and you know, it was they played in theatres and they seemed like, you know, really glamorous. Yeah, it was, you know, there's a geezer who sings and he wears a big sunflower on his head. No one round our way had a sunflower on their head, even in the summer. And going to see the magazine at Eric's was a real turning point, and then following that, seeing The Cure, you know, standing 10 feet away from me, and they looked like a bunch of sixth form students. And wow, listen to that. They were playing stuff off their first album, which is just, even now to me, I listen to anything. I listen to 10:15 on a Saturday night, and it's not 10:15, it's about 6 o'clock in the basement at Eric's with all the other 16-year-old kids. And it was interesting going to the Roger Eagle launch and people talking about Eric's matinee kids, and Auntie Doreen used to look after us all. And she was, when I was talking to Doreen about the book, you know, many tales about escorting young boys like Mike Peters and Ian Astbury back to where they came from, making sure they got on the train home and all that. And that was it. But we thought, you know, that Eric's, being 16 in Eric's was our punk rock wars. Yeah.
So when I was 16, it was 1983, 1984. I was in bands at the time. I was trying to make a name for myself and that. And that was, like you say, it was an inspiring time for us because the charts were full of Liverpool bands in the days, and I was that kind of age. With yourselves, there was you know, Pete was there with Wah, the Icicle Way, China Crisis, all these bands from Liverpool inspired so many other bands at the time because it was, well, their sponsors, why can't I do it?
Well, I think that really goes down to the importance of Eric's and what it was, and, you know, because you look at that family tree and the stuff that came off it, you know, not so much the first generation of people, but like people who were my age and were a bit too young to go, who got influenced by it. And it's like, there it was, it's like 1984, years after Eric's had closed down, and there's Frankie Goes To Hollywood on top of the pops in one dressing room. Pete Wiley's in another dressing room.
That's that number 14 you've ever hit.
And Echo and the Bunnyman in the other dressing room, yeah. And it was, well, it was like, I don't know. It felt like it only takes six to eight scouts just to take over anywhere. And that was it.
Can you imagine that, ladies and gentlemen? Frankie Goes To Hollywood, the Bunnyman, and Pete Wiley all backstage at top of the block. Not a Jimmy Hamilton he's seen anyway.
You said you weren't going to bring that up.
The strategies were never proven, you know. But, I mean, back home, you know, in front of the telly on the Thursday night, I was jumping for joy because all these scousers were on the telly and they were all wielding the guitars that I wanted to wield, and they were all loving what they were doing. And it was a really inspirational, especially for me and people like me, really inspirational time. And there was none bigger at that time than Frankie Goes To Hollywood. Going
back to that time about Liverpool, you've got to remember the football teams as well. Yeah. You know, it was, you know, Liverpool and Everton, which were the best two teams in the country, and it was like scousers everywhere, you know. And also when you think about the militant times that the country, you know, that the city was under at that, it was like, it seemed like a little bit of an affirmation that yes, you've got it right. You've got the best footy teams, you've got the nutty socialists in charge, we won't budge ever, and we've got all the pop music as well. So yeah, it was a
great time. So eventually you end up in this building. What are we talking, 30 years ago?
Yeah, 30 years ago since I stood on that entrance step and I heard Martin Penn playing Two Tribes, the bass lines of Two Tribes and drums and bass rather, in the sunshine. It was probably like a June or a July afternoon, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm thinking, like, wow, that's cool. I thought it was the first thing that struck me was, wow, that's cool. They'd be listening outside, working in some sweaty little cell that's damp and don't smell very nice. But they can get away with it. There's only two of them. We can't. It's just a bit amber and drunk, isn't it? We're not dragging at all outside. No PA required. Nobody's singing. So yeah, amazing. There's no posh flats around here then, no. There was nothing, absolutely nothing around here.
It was just empty warehouses, wasn't it?
There was a fantastic selection of drunks in the custom house, which is now the mini mart. And there was a gun club somewhere down the back of there. And the people who used to drink in the custom house were members of the gun club. I just remember there was a guy there who looked like Charles Bronson, not the deathless Charles Bronson, the nutcase from Broadmoor Charles Bronson, with the moustache called Vic. And he used to be like, oh yeah, no, we don't have the guns here, the guns they have to stay in there, yeah, we don't shoot, yeah, and you sounded thinking like, you know when you read the years later, he went mad with a gun, it could have been any of these guys. What's the gun club? That's it, you've got to do your research.
It's probably one of these.
There was something somewhere in the street, yeah.
There's a very different type of club just up on the left, apparently, so I'm told, but it's not to do with guns. So from here, the next thing I get, particularly to this area, and I had to talk about this with Dave Monks on the Merseyside the other night, Hanover Street, and it was the first time you heard Relax on a cassette in, was it Bob Johnson, the manager at the time, in his car, and he described the look on his face when he played it, and that feeling of hearing that version for the first time.
Yeah, it was amazing, because we've kind of been fucked off, I think is the word. Yeah, we've had them in, they don't really like what they do. They just play the song that they know. I mean, so I made this whole thing about when we go and relax, and we go, yeah, play it again. And there's just this guy with glasses looking at either side, and goes, yeah, play it again. I know, you played it 50 times, and I'm like, so what do you want us to do? So in the end, we do our bit. We spent 3 days in the manor in hell. My snooker break went up. And then we kind of came back to here and weird that this record was being made while we were up here. Signed, we were lads in it because we were signed. Oh yeah, we're making that record. Well, why isn't down there? Someone else was making it. We can't do that. But it's going to be boss. It's going to be boss. So we get a phone call. We said, we get a phone call. You know, we all take this communication so much for granted now. I'll ring you when I get there, blah, blah, blah. But somehow we all arranged to meet Bob Johnson outside the Hanover Hotel because he knows where the Hanover is. So we're in the Hanover having a drink and popping out every 5 minutes. And Bob turns up in the Jag. And Bob was like a bit like Art of Zady, but not. He was a Cockney, but very mellow. Never raised his voice, just a nice guy. But so we all got jumped into his Jag. And he put this cassette on and it was like, oh, yeah, who's that? So I was, oh yeah, wow, this just sounds amazing. And he kind of looked over he was in the front seat and he looked over at myself, and I think me and Pez were in the back. Mark had to be in the front, didn't he? So he looked back at us and it was like, he'd probably been playing it all the way up and knew what our reaction was going to be. And we were like, wow, what's that? And yeah, an amazing one, one of them moments you take to the grave. And he had a good stereo as well. It was a Jag. Would have been a Kenwood or something like that.
So that was a lovely story in the book when I read that, because I just thought I almost see you in Hanover Street. That's a feeling that I've got from reading the book. By the end of the book, like I said to you the other night, I think I texted you when I was pissed the other night. I feel like I was.
You woke up.
Did I? Sorry, jeez. The unsung hero of the book as well, and I woke her up.